we are going to review dividing fractions before I go into dividing mixed numbers. We have 3/5 divided by 2/7. Remember, when it's division, you have to turn the division into multiplication, but in order to do that, you have to do the reciprocal of the second fraction. So 2/7, the reciprocal of 2/7 would be 7/2. So the 7 becomes the numerator, the 2 becomes the denominator. So 3/5 times 7/2. Remember, to change this to multiplication, you have to do the reciprocal here. 2/7 would go to 7/2. Okay, nothing can reduce within the problem, so we're just going to multiply. 3 times 7 is 21. 5 times 2 is 10. And we have 21/10. Okay, so it's an improper fraction. So if you remember, we have to take 21 and divide it by 10. That goes 2 times, which is 20, with 1 left over. So your whole number is your quotient, your answer. Your remainder becomes your numerator. Your denominator stays the same. So 2 and 1/10. To check that, 10 times 2 is 20, plus 1 is 21, and the 10 stays the same. So 2 and 1/10. 3/5 divided by 2/7 would be 2 and 1/10. Okay, now you try this one on your own. Okay, so let's look at it. 4/5. Divide is going to go to multiply. Remember, 2/3, the reciprocal of 2/3 is 3/2. Okay, now we have the 2 and the 4. They can cancel. They can cancel. 2 goes into 2 one time. 2 goes into 4 2 times. So 2 times 3 is 6. 5 times 1 is 5. So 6/5, improper fraction again. So when you go 6 into 5, or 5 into 6, it goes one time with 1 left over. So whole number 1, the remainder is your numerator. Over top of your denominator, that stays the same. So 1 and 1/5 would be your answer. To check it, 5 times 1 is 5, plus 1 is 6, so 6/5. So if you got 1 and 1/5, you have it correct. Now I want to go over mixed number division. 2 and 1/2 divided by 3 and 1/5. Okay, so we have 2 times 2 is 4, plus 1 is 5. Just like when you multiplied, you have to turn the mixed number to an improper fraction. And you do it by 2 times 2 is 4. Multiply your denominator times your whole number, then add your numerator, which was 1. 2 times 2 is 4, plus 1 is 5, so 5 halves. Divided by 5 times 3 is 15, plus 1 is 16, so 16 fifths. Okay, so now, though, it's division. So we have to go 5 halves, divide goes to multiply, 6 fifths is going to go to 5 sixteenths. Okay, so nothing can reduce within the problem or cancel out. So now, 5 times 5 is 25. 2 times 6 is 32. Nothing can go into 25 except 1, 5, and 25. Well, the only one that can go into 32 is 1, so that tells us it's in simplest form. So you do not have to reduce it. So 25 over 32 would be your answer. Okay, so now you try this one. Four and 2/3 divided by 3 and 2/3. 4 and 2/3 divided by 3 and 2/3. Let's look. Let's remember, a mixed number has to go to an improper fraction. To do that, 3 times 4 is 12. Then 12 plus 2 is 14, so 14/3. Divided by 3 times 3 is 9. 9 plus 2 is 11, so 11/3. Okay, now since it's division, we have to do 14/3. Divide's going to go to multiply. 11/3, the reciprocal of 11/3 is 3/11. Okay, now the 3's can cancel. 3 goes into 3 one time, 3 goes into 3 one time. So now just multiply across. 14 times 1 is 14. 1 times 11 is 11. Okay, now what type of fraction is this called? That's right, improper, because the numerator is larger than the denominator. So what do we have to do to change that? Divide the denominator into your numerator. So 14 divided by 11. 11 goes into 14 one time. 1 times 11 is 11 with 3 left over. So your answer, your quotient, is your whole number. Your remainder is your numerator over top of your denominator that stays the same. So 1 and 3/11 would be your answer, which you can't hardly see by me messing it up. So 11 times 1 is 11, plus 3 is 14, so 14/11. So 1, let me make that right. 1 and 3/11. There we go. Let's do one more. Five and 1/4 divided by 2 and 2/7. I'm going to give you a couple minutes to do it. Let's look at it. Improper fraction, change it. We need to change it to an improper fraction from a mixed number. So 4 times 5 is 20. Then add your numerator. 20 plus 1 is 21, so 21/4. Divided by 7 times 2 is 14. 14 plus 1 is 16, so 16/7. Okay, so now we have to go 21/4. Divide's going to go to multiply. Now we have to do the reciprocal, so we're going to have to flip it. So 7/16. Okay, nothing can cancel out, can it? So now we have to multiply 21 times 7, which is 147, over top of 16 times 4. 6 times 4 is 24. Carry the 2. 4 times 1 is 4, plus 2 is 6. So 64. So it's an improper fraction, so we have to convert that. So we have to divide 64 into 147, which will go, if we cover up the 7 and cover up the 4, 6 goes into 4, 14, 2 times. So let's see. 64 times 2 is 128. So it's going to go 2 times 128. When you subtract, you can't take 8 from 7, so we have to borrow. Makes that a 3 and makes this a 17. 17 subtract 8 is 9. 3 subtract 2 is 1. So then your answer would be 2 as your whole number and 19/64. Well, 19 is a prime number because only 1 and 19 can go into it. 19 cannot go into 64, so it makes 2 and 1964 your answer. I hope this video helps you. If you need to, you can go back and re-watch it and until you get the until you understand what you're doing.